Welcome back, everyone. Technically speaking, I'm here with my guy Sané. Sané, I've known since I want to say like 2013 or 2012,
Yeah,
2013,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
2013.
I remember that day like it was yesterday. We was at a pizza spot. I remember, and me and Billy was there, and I think Laura was also there, and Rivka. If I
Yeah,
remember, it was like the Mark Jacob days or whatnot. But yeah, that was
exactly.
one
Yeah,
time. But now it's kind of like it's crazy that we've seen each other like grow from then to like now or whatnot. But a little bit more about Sané. He's based in Paris.
yep.
He travels the world a lot. I'll give him that. He travels the world a lot. Um, he's like one of my like most favorite like expressionists and only like friends as well. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
the term right here.
facts. And Sané, he's known for a multiple for multiple things. I know that you also like you was like a hip hop freestyle dancer, right? You also act and you model, and
Yes,
then
sir.
and now DJ is like another form of expression or whatnot. And then on the DJ scene, I know it's mostly like house and electronic music.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. But yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming out, taking time to meet with me or whatnot. Um, if there's anything I missed, I also want to give you time to like, introduce yourself as well.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Oh, so yeah, I think you summed up everything pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, what more can I add? I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Uh,
That's good. No, I know you.
yeah, there's more to come. I
Yeah.
think
Right.
like this. I think as creative expressionist, I love this term.
Mhm.
I think it's always good to like you never end anything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for example, if I used to act or model, I can always come back to that and create like opportunities to actually express myself
Yeah.
in those fields.
Mhm.
And I think that's very interesting. As creative, like time don't really exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
you evolving.
Mhm.
It's like a what's the word? Uh, Metamorphosis or something
Yeah.
like that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so you can grow from one thing to another thing and come back to that thing and see
Absolutely.
the evolution, and then use it a different way and
Yeah.
just reinvent yourself
Facts.
through like this character. So I love that
Yeah.
expressionist. Yeah,
It's like we're constantly just like reaching a higher self each and every time
exactly.
we engage in any one of our practices. It's just constantly trying to get like a higher self. I feel like there's never really an end point. You just keep going and going and going and
Keep
going.
going, you keep going, and sometimes you can go through something and then that will be the end of the
Man,
introduction. But that's really interesting to you go through something
yeah.
and you strive for more,
Mhm.
but at the time you exercising, you're not really, you don't have like your full concentration and focus,
Facts.
and like, so that's
Yep.
where you all over the place kind of.
Hmm.
And then when like you decide to go through one field, and then you realize that, okay, so I did the thing in this field, maybe I could come back to the other one,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No,
and
I
propose
fully
a new
understand.
version to yourself. It's not
Yeah.
it's not for the people, it's just for yourself to present a new version of yourself and say like, okay, maybe I can explore this
Yeah.
field this way right now. So
Got you. I got you.
yeah.
Yeah. I think from the time that we met, it was like I got a chance to see like the freestyle dancing and then like
Yeah.
moving on to like modeling, acting. And I know DJ, became like one of your, forms of expression. I want to say, has it been 3 years? Was it 4 years?
Now, yeah, if subtract the COVID part,
Yeah.
the time period,
Yeah.
yeah, 4 years now.
4 years.
Yeah,
4 years in
4
the
years
game.
activity. Yeah,
Do you
4 years
still feel
activity.
brand new?
Yeah, bro,
Gotcha.
I feel like a baby. Like it's amazing to meet
Yeah.
people who've been DJing for uh 10 plus years,
Yeah.
15, 20 years, and they're still
Right.
learning new stuff,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to adapt themselves to the market, to the industry,
Gotcha.
to the
Mhm.
trends. That's very interesting to meet people like that. So yeah, you never the end point you talk about.
Yeah.
You know, in this kind of field, you never really reach it. You
Gotcha.
never, yeah.
So,
That's the.
that,
It's actually, yeah. It's actually like a. It's a. If you reach it, I think it's kind of like a mental grave. You know, you put yourself into. You know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. So speak. I mean, I still count the 4 years. I count COVID too. So,
Yeah.
I want to say like I'm sure that played a factor or whatnot, but like what more or less like inspired you to become a DJ,
A
right? And
DJ.
like you get like started in the industry.
Mm, so, long story short, I grew up into um, like a musical family background. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
My uncle was a producer. He still is, but he was a big producer in France. And you know, when I grew up, when I was going to high school and middle school, I used to go to his studio in Paris.
Hmm.
So that's where I think I got my, you know, most of my influences.
Gotcha.
Um, from the technical side to, you know, everything. I was just like very curious.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't know I was going to be a DJ. You
Yeah.
know, I was just like a music lover. You know, like every genre from rock and roll to hip hop to salsa to whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
and really been into music.
Hmm.
Yeah, music was my thing, and I think, you know, dancing was just
Hmm.
the most suitable, you know, for me at the time, you know, form
Gotcha.
of expression. You know what I mean? To express my love for music. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I want to make it. I want to make it short. I want to make it short. So
Yeah.
then, you know, actually, I met a guy when I was in high school.
Yeah.
We used to be friends, but then we part ways. But he was already a DJ and producer, and at the end of the year, he said like, you know, I would like to work on some, you know, R&B pop music production.
Hmm.
And would you be down to, you know, like collaborate with me? Because he
Yeah.
knew I had the knowledge, you know, musical knowledge, but I
Yeah.
didn't have like the technical knowledge. I didn't know anything about like softwares and
Gotcha.
everything. You know what I mean? Music
Uh-huh.
production.
Mhm.
Um, and so I said yes, and then we came up with tracks. But that was interesting because that was just like the way, you know, it was just like exploring, you know,
Yeah.
kind of.
Hmm.
And then we took it seriously, and then we ended up signing a contract with yeah, yeah.
That's
But
yeah.
that was that was, you know, like good things, bad things. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was my first, I would say, my first real encounter for myself, you know, by
Hmm.
myself into the music industry. And then you know, like, I will we'll talk about it later, but then I came to DJing from that era to another,
Gotcha.
you know, like, yeah.
Oh, no, that's so dope because it's just like that was kind of like your first like segue, like you said, into the industry or whatnot. And
Exactly.
so, do you think like you signing that contract was kind of like the stamp or like the thing that happened that you was like, okay, let me take this a little bit more serious?
Exactly. At the time, you know, when you're in high school,
Yeah.
that's what you think. You know,
Yeah.
you're young, you go like boom, you go to school, and then you go to studios, you go to, you know what I mean? You go to
Yeah.
produce, you go to meet artists and stuff, and you go like, wow, that's a life, you know, that's life. There's something like completely different, you know. That's the what we call now like the multiverse. So that was
Word,
the
word.
yeah. So that was the
Mhm.
my kind of multiverse. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was something at the time. At the
Mhm.
time. And sorry, but the second part that
Yeah.
would really inspired me becoming a DJ. That was my time when I was living in London, actually, because I met like so many people, and I was working in the night industry, so I had the, you know, the opportunity to meet like real DJs. You
Fine.
know, some of them passed away, but they were like goats in the
Mm.
field, in the industry, and to be like very close to them, you know, to see what was really going on, you know, interaction with the audience, with the crowd and stuff,
Yeah.
the track selection and everything, like, you
Mhm.
know, like the stage performance, you know, that was the bro, like,
I can
that's
imagine.
actually that, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
second part of
Mhm.
where I got my inspiration from. Yeah.
Gotcha. That sounds like a lot of free game, that you get from there, but
Yeah.
also just like almost like a surreal experience because it's like, damn, I'm learning like firsthand from people who has like cemented like their legacy
Yes,
to it
sir.
and whatnot, right? And I know you mentioned how in the beginning it was like, I'm learning like the systems, I'm learning the software or whatnot. So now that you've kind of got that like down pat, like what, like can you describe like your creative process, like when you preparing like a set or even like a mix?
So that's a very good question, actually, because I think it's something very unique to your own self.
Hmm.
Like there's no, I cannot give like a method or something,
Right.
but my approach is very personal. I think it's more because I think I spend more time reading the crowd and study crowds in general. That I
Mm.
think that I spend less time preparing my sets. I
Yeah.
just I just make sure that I have, like, for example, like all the new music or all the music I'm really interested in. I
Yeah.
really like. I really,
Mhm.
to be like a little bit vulgar, but fuck with.
Yeah.
Um, because it's more like it's a balance between your, you know, your true self and what the crowd you know, is
Yeah.
um, is
And
down.
that- right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like is
I
down for.
100%. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the process is more that's interesting because your track selection,
Hmm.
like overall, you can feel there's a frequency,
Yeah. Hmm.
and most of the time because it's a more between like the groove and harmonics and everything, like from a track to another, you
Hmm.
can find like similar stuff,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can find like opposite, but you can create like you're here to build bridge. You know what I mean? Because it's a
Gotcha.
journey. So I think my process is more like how can I create like the most bridges in one set?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Gotcha.
mean? And because I build, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's interesting because I build myself. I mean, I build like from crowd reading. I don't build from, like my computer and just like,
Yeah.
selecting track. I'm just like, okay, this track, I like it. And the
Yeah.
more I play it and the more I mix it with
Yeah.
another track, other tracks, and I'm go like, okay, it's like painting, like sometimes you can like, red
Yeah.
and blue is gonna give you purple, but
Yeah.
like red and yellow is gonna give you orange, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Hmm.
And from that you go like, okay, sometimes I go purple, sometimes I
Yeah.
go orange,
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's the best way to visualize it. And
Gotcha.
yeah, bro, like I think that's the process. It's more like
Hmm.
instinct and
Yeah.
feelings and your intuition, and the track selection is more about what you know from the track and what you want to get from the track. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
More than like a proper preparation. And
Got
because
it.
sometimes you can like be like all set,
Yeah.
and during your DJ set
Yeah.
you get lost because people are not really
Like
fucking
the.
with
Mhm.
what you're doing. Sorry for the
No,
long
no, no,
answers, but
no. I like the fact that you broke it down because, like, when you was describing like your process, I'm thinking like how I've seen you DJ, right? I've seen you like go. You're like more hands on, right? You're engaging the crowd. You're
yes,
pumping
sir.
the crowd, so that makes it a little bit even more interesting. That it's not like a pre-selected, like I guess like list of tracks. It's not like a pre-selected like mix or anything. You're like in real time, like, oh, okay, I see you feeling this. I got you. I'm gonna turn you up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly, exactly. And that's because like as a DJ, I think you're nothing without the audience.
yeah,
That's kind of rhetorical saying that, but
yeah,
you're nothing. You're here to exchange. You know, and it's so interesting to see how people like they can, yeah, definitely they can go from 0 to 100. You know
got
what
it.
I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
A feeling, at the end of the
yeah,
day.
and
Mhm.
sometimes you can surprise them because sometimes they kind of know what's coming next, but then
Mhm.
you take them to a no different way,
Yeah,
and they're still working, and they go like, oh, that's the surprise on their face and the feelings they
gotcha.
have and they get,
Mhm.
and how they hype themselves and
Yeah,
how sorry they hype people around them. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because people bring people. Like it's like
Exactly.
money brings
Exactly.
money, so people bring people. You know, it's something
Facts.
like
Yeah.
it's like that. So it's so amazing to, as you described it, it's so amazing to have the power to. It's not really power, but the intuition to feel like, okay, my instinct, like, oh yeah, you like this right now, okay, and
Gotcha.
bro, you have like a logical connection in your brain, like saying like, okay, this track comes next. There's
Gotcha.
no there's no other way. This one, you
So
know
it's
what I
like
mean?
so it's almost like you operate in like a conscious level and an unconscious level, because you're like, okay, you're feeling them out, and then you be like, at the same time you're already planning your next mix. Like, oh, you hype now? I got you in a second. You know what I'm saying? And you're like processing like what's next. So to me, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? So
Bro, that's
uh,
yeah, that's bro. If you go that deep,
yeah,
you know, like, because you can be like a very good DJ playing like all the mainstream
yeah,
stuff, but at the end of the day, you are very replaceable, I would say, at some point. You know what I mean? And because it's a very accessible like field right now, like everybody can be
yeah,
a DJ. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, it's just yeah, I think like it's more of it's more about like what you um how can I say it? Yeah, you allow yourself going on a, you know, like unknown path, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, as a DJ, my approach, um yeah, the less you know, the better, you know.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The
Yeah.
less you know, the better.
I
Like
guess
it's,
your job.
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
everything happens in the unknown. So it's
Got it.
yeah, that's
So every time you like you're in the booth, it's kind of like, all right, I don't know how this night is gonna go, but I'm gonna take it, based on.
exactly.
Gotcha. So I know every night basically looks, different or whatnot. So I mean, that's crazy to think that, like, like that's your job. Like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna set the tone, and I'm gonna take the party wherever it needs to go. But yeah, like I said, that's not short of like amazing in my opinion. And I know you mentioned earlier how your music is kind of like you have a more like personal approach to the music, right?
Yeah.
So being that, like, I guess like the demand for like music can be both something that's current but also something nostalgic, right? So how do you keep like up with like either like current trends and discover like new tracks to like including your sets? And how do you, I guess, like how do you maintain that balance of more or less like discovering new tracks and staying up to date while also sticking to your good, like, your true self in terms of like your personal music selection?
Uh, I mean, first of all, I would, um, as an answer, I would give you this,
Mhm.
because we live in the era of streaming and everything. You
Yeah,
have to keep yourself up to date. You know
facts.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Because you know, now, like tracks, they last less
Mhm.
time. You know,
Yeah,
in our environments, I would say. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because there are always new stuff to jump on, and
Mhm.
you know what I mean, to listen to like new genres that sometimes they're gonna, die in the
Mhm.
next month or the next year, but
Right, yeah.
people I want to, people they want to fuck with at the
Mhm.
moment. And because of the streaming thing,
Yeah,
you have to. It's an obligation, I think. As you say, when you say like, how can you stay up to date?
yeah.
It's not how. It's just like, no question. You have to.
Got you. Gotta stay
you
up.
have to stay
Yeah.
up to date. You know what I mean? You have to stay up to date.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, to bring that to bring that feeling, that the nostalgia, yeah,
Yeah,
that feeling. Of course, you have to dig,
yeah.
and it's a work, to
Mhm.
dig, to know what was going on,
Yeah.
like 20, 30, 40 years,
Gotcha,
before,
gotcha. So it's a
you
lot
know
of
what I
research,
mean? Say
you
again?
know. So is it like a lot of research you have to do as
Yeah,
well?
it's research,
Mhm.
and like, because I love culture
Yeah.
in general.
Hmm.
I love to pay tributes to,
Mhm.
like what, like people who were like who came before me,
Yeah.
and thanks to them I'm doing this because they broke, they
Gotcha.
created
Yeah.
what I mean, the material, sorry, that
Yeah.
we use. That's the same in your field. You have to, sometimes you pay tribute to people, like, because
Mhm.
like the situation they were in at the
Yeah.
time that got them creative. Exactly, you know
Exactly.
what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's raw material that you can use and just help yourself to reinvent you, and you know what I mean? Like, so that's how I perceive things. You stay up to date and you dig and pay tributes, because at the end of the day, like, sometimes people, like, they're not really fucking with what's going on right now with the
Yeah.
trend, but they
Mhm.
can really connect with the tribute you're gonna pay,
Gotcha. Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
know the track from
Mhm.
30, 40 years ago, and they're gonna be like, oh wow, like,
Word.
he
Yeah.
know that, he
Mhm.
knows. So it's so
Got-
cool to as I said before, you create
Yeah.
bridges.
Gotcha. No, and I'm glad you said that. I can't stress that's enough how important it is to pay homage to those who cemented things before you got there. Whether they inspired you, maybe they influenced you, even a small bit. But I feel
Yeah.
like a lost art in today's music is not paying homage to those who came before you or whatnot.
Mm,
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I'm glad you said that though, because it is a lost art. At least in my opinion, at least like in my perception of music,
hmm.
um, yeah, it is like a lost art where we kind of like don't pay homage to like the OGs rather, or the people who built their legacies, way before we did or whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so being that like now you, I know you feel like you say like, hey, you're still a rookie or
Yeah.
maybe in this or whatnot. But to me, I feel like you cemented something along the way, right? Can you like describe or like talk about, I guess, like some challenging moments you faced, you know what I'm saying, as a DJ, and like how you overcame it?
um so the first one, very
Mhm.
personal. When you stick to your choice, and you can say sometimes, like a financial struggle and everything,
Yeah.
but there's
Mhm.
something, deep down that's saying, like, okay, you're gonna overcome it, you're
Yeah.
gonna you're gonna make it no matter what. You know what I mean? You stick to the choice, because sometimes it's just, you realize that, um if you take a step back,
Mhm.
you go like, so maybe the point was that you've never stuck to one thing
Yeah.
and just push it to the max, to the
Yeah.
limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you get that, you understand that now you're into your field.
Gotcha.
There's no way for you to actually fail.
Mhm.
You
Gotcha.
know what I
So
mean?
yeah, no, I
It's
absolutely
just it's
understand.
just a matter of time, and a matter of when I say facts, it's just like, meeting the right people, like, you know what I mean, like creating like the
Mhm.
opportunities and the connections that will get you to the point where you want to
Mhm.
be. um, but it's just at some point you have to, stay like a little bit delusional, like saying, okay, I'm
Yo,
not
it's so
you know
important.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything else,
Yeah.
because I've been that way. I know, mentally where I was,
Mhm.
where I don't want to be anymore.
Yeah.
So the choice I've made now
Mhm.
has to, like, there's something that has to come out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come out.
Absolutely. Yo.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
We
there's
know.
something. There's
Yo.
there's no other way.
Yeah.
So that's one challenge you can face,
Yeah.
sometimes, because, like, we live in the world of money. So
Mhm.
when you struggle financially, you go like, maybe I should think about the option B and option C and option D. But if you stick to option A, you're gonna create
Yeah.
the option B and option C. But that's some basic philosophy right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's thing. I think that's the yeah, the most valuable lesson is just stick to the choice and stick to the plan.
Consistent.
Even though you think you don't have a
Yeah.
plan, like you do have one,
Mm-hmm.
because your delusion, gets you to the that's your plan actually.
Man,
Because
I'm glad you said, like you and I, we know
yeah,
how to stay delusional throughout the entire process, right? Like that's
exactly.
the part. Because like you said, just stick to your guns, just stick through and you make the connections along the way. You make, it's like
It's
you just don't to me, it's like you couldn't give up. Like that's the thing. Like once you give
That's the
up,
thing.
it's over. But yeah, I'm glad you said, staying
Yeah.
consistent is the most part. Despite it being challenging, at the end of the day, it's still like, all right, just believing in yourself, right?
Just
It's
yeah,
like you.
exactly. And
Mhm.
even though you don't, even though you're gonna move with fear,
Yeah,
just just pack it and just use
just
the
keep
fear,
going,
like,
right?
oh
Yeah,
yeah, just keep going, because
absolutely.
it's gonna help you. Like
Mhm.
fear is can be like very helpful, you know what I mean, sometimes.
Mhm.
And we have to say it, because like there's so many people that got stuck because they fear of
Gotcha,
whatever the fear can be, you know what I mean. You create your own, demons.
gotcha.
So I wanted to say that that's the first point. The second point where I want to talk about, from the question,
Yeah,
is actually, um, is when you start from the scratch, in front of the audience, like pretty empty, I would say, like
yeah,
there was no crowd, and
bro.
then you have to bring them into your
Mhm.
universe, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
and create something that can, like, once again, the bridge you're
yeah,
gonna create between you and them and you, and the music, the track selection that you're gonna on the spot.
yeah.
What you know what I mean? Like, that's very important, and that's a challenge, because sometimes you can go in the route, like,
Mhm.
people, they will not enjoy the music. So you have to get the knowledge, and um, to be knowledgeable enough,
Mhm.
knowing that, okay, now I'm going the wrong way. So you have to give. If
Yeah,
you want to receive,
yeah.
just give. What do they want? You have to figure out, like, very, like, quickly, what the people
Basically,
want. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And at the same time, because yeah, that's the ego approach, because you don't want to give yourself too much, because like, if you play like too many like mainstream songs, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm just play, like I'm just another playlist from Spotify, but you don't want to be that. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting to say, like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, guys, but then you're gonna receive. I'm gonna receive a little bit, because I'm gonna also play some tracks that I really enjoy listening to.
Gotcha.
and
Mhm.
and it's actually super magical to see that the chemistry, like, it's crazy, because the more you enjoy the music
Yeah,
yourself, and the more you're going to create the vibe, and people are going to enjoy also the music, because they see you enjoy the music. That's
absolutely.
something like so amazing to, to live and to experience. So that's the challenges. That's the challenge. The first one is just on your personal life.
Yeah,
Sometimes, like the financial stuff, or
yeah,
maybe like the support. Because I had the support too. I had your support. I had,
yeah,
like, my best friends, my family. So that was
yeah,
amazing to, to have people like saying, okay, so stick
yeah.
to it. Just stick to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just stick to it. You're gonna make it. Stick to it. And the other challenge is on the spot. You have to give to receive, and yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I like how you mentioned like the struggle in the beginning of like just getting people to come to your performance, right? And like
yeah,
build up identity, and I'm sure it's like more kinks to that in terms of like marketing and all of that or whatnot. But being that like in 4 years have like gone from maybe I don't know, I hate to say small time DJ, but maybe like just an upstart, right? A
yeah,
rookie
of course.
now
Mhm.
flying out the country, to be like being booked out the country or whatnot. I can't count how many times I see. I'm like, oh, look at this dude. Now he's on the private jet. Like now he's doing it. Now and I'm like, bro, like you just keep going higher and higher. But I know you DJ'd a lot of venues or whatnot. But you have a favorite like performance of yours so far?
Wow. Like, you said, like, the most memorable.
Yeah, I guess like the most
Yeah.
memorable like event or performance that you've had so far.
Um, Bro, to be honest with you, I think that was my first time when I've been to Qatar.
Ah, really?
Yeah, to see
Yeah.
like how the wow, the crowd,
Hmm.
like the place I couldn't imagine because the place
Hmm.
was you can get in the place between 600 and 800 people. I would say like 700 people when it's full, packed. And
Yeah.
when you realize you have like 700 people in front of you, you start to feel something, and you go
Mhm.
like they all, like cheering up. They all, like have like their hands in the sky and just
Man.
like they shouting, screaming, like they singing the songs, you know what I mean, and they just screaming your name and everything.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, yeah.
like
Hmm.
there's something um from that point, there's something like very addictive.
Yeah.
Like if you're addicted to sugar and everything, you're gonna be
Yeah, right.
addicted to this. You get addicted to this because you realize that, oh wow, what a sensation. Especially when right after that you're alone in your hotel room and you go like, oh shit, what just happened? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I can
You're far from home. You
understand.
know nobody,
Yeah.
and you have people like screaming your name for the first time, and you go like, "Oh wow, that's the yeah." I think that was the most memorable. Sorry,
That's like the most, because I remember when I first when you first told me that you were going to like Qatar or whatnot, and I'm like, oh wow, like bro, it's like you really making movements and stuff like that. So when I seen the venue or whatnot, I'm thinking about like how do you maintain like your composure and stay true to yourself? Because I seen, like the way I know you is the way I see you perform that way. It's almost like you're still your true self, even
yeah,
while like doing your gigs or whatnot. And I'm like, bro, it's just like he's out here being himself, making everything that he want happen for himself. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was like really good, like cool to witness. But 700 people, all screaming your name, like what I'm saying, you creating the vibe. And to me, what's like an underrated part of DJing. Two is that like the memories you create for other people, right? Like, hey
exactly.
man, I went here, I was in Qatar, some crazy DJ had the whole place going crazy. Now, damn, I gotta go to Qatar. I gotta meet, I gotta find this DJ that had the party, that had the place going wild or whatnot. So man, salute you for that. That's, I'm sure
Thank you, bro.
more
Thank you.
memories to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Gotcha. So I know like planning like both like small crowds and like really large crowds, right? Like what impact do you hope your like your performances have on the audience? Like both, I guess, like emotionally and artistically, if I can add that.
You know what? I already know because I already experienced it
Yeah.
like many times.
Hmm.
To be honest with you, like I'm so bro. I really get emotional like in the yeah, like I really get emotional when I see people, start making out when I'm playing,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
When they kiss each other, when they hug each other, when you see people like they enjoy the music and they, like they came from separate ways and just they come together, they get along, they meet. You know what I mean? Like they get friends, they become friends at the end of the set. When you
yeah.
see people like at the end of the day, he was just that he or she was on a date,
Hmm.
and then at the end you
Yeah.
see them, like what was what they gonna do after that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And bro, like to me, that's the best feeling ever. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Because I'm a real fan of of the music that um that helped and help us
Hmm.
keep going as one species. I would say, like when you have a track and they
Yeah.
say, oh, people made babies on this track.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
That people like they don't realize that that's a magical power. That
Absolutely.
like um, that's you keep humanity, the human race going on,
Uh-huh.
through arts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people like they don't realize that. And when you have a song and people like start, like kissing each other and make love on the song, to
Yeah.
me is like it's a win. It's a big W. So it's a
Gotcha.
huge one. So to
Mhm.
have like people to come to my gigs, or even though like at the beginning they, they were here like randomly, or I just followed friends, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And like I
Mhm.
love that. I love when they come at the end and just come and shake hands and just go like, bro, like you just
Gotcha. Like,
you just changed my perspective even on electronic music. You know what I mean? Because when you see me, you go like, oh, maybe this guy is gonna play some hip hop or whatever,
yeah,
and then he comes and play house and Afro house and everything, and
yeah,
even like sometimes a little bit like techno-ish tracks, and you go like, oh wow, like the track selection, you just gave me goosebumps and stuff. I go
yeah.
like, that's the feeling. That's the feeling. So
Totally.
yeah, that's
No,
the
I'm
feeling.
going. No,
Yeah,
it's funny that you make that reference to like baby making music or whatnot.
yeah,
Like DJ, I look at DJing as like art, right? And so I
yeah.
look, and that's, I guess that's a good segue into the next question I have. Like, and you kind of answered it to a degree, where it's like, how do you view DJing as like an art form, right? And
Mm,
that's expression, and you kind of describe, how just like your idea is just to like make people, or get people rather, to build connection, whether that's in the form of like physical connection or even like mentally connecting to each other or whatnot. Um, yeah, it's crazy to think about it and to like hear you break it down, because like now I'm like, damn, I gotta study DJing a little bit harder, because
yeah,
when we go out, the DJ sets the tone to a degree on how we approach people, or like what kind of energy we have
yes,
that
sir.
night. So yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. But I like the way you broke it down. Um, I know you mentioned going to Qatar as like a memorable moment, and then like just DJing in like all parts of the world, right? Do
Yeah.
you think of, or like how do you incorporate like cultural influences, and personal experiences into your like your music or your selection style, especially when you like are DJing, outside of your home base?
Wow, that's a very good question. Um, you know what? I think I mentioned it before, but I'm gonna say it again.
Hmm.
In context, but you have tracks, sorry, that really make people come together.
Yeah.
So wherever you are on the planet,
Hmm.
um, you know that if you play this track,
Yeah.
it's gonna resonate no
Yeah.
matter what. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Yeah. Like it's going to hit us all the same, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you
So
referenced the it's almost like a I think you referenced earlier how if you go digging and you bring out a track from 30 to 40 years ago, and
yes,
we're
sir.
all like, oh wow, yeah, he knows this, so I
Yeah,
think, like you said, yeah, it's just like thinking about how you can continue to connect people. Um,
exactly. So it's just sometimes it's just a battle of generations. Like the oldies don't really understand what's going on in the for the with the newbies and stuff,
yeah,
and and the new school is gonna be like, oh yeah, this for old heads. So I'm not gonna listen to it. But
yeah,
if you open your ears a little bit
yeah.
and open your mind a little bit, and you understand that this gave birth to this,
Hmm.
etc., etc., and you go like, okay, so maybe if I see from a different perspective, I can one more time create a bridge between the past and the future, and you create the present, actually. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely,
So
absolutely.
yeah, you're here to create to create, sorry, the present, the moment. So yeah, like you can be in Germany or Qatar or Morocco or Zimbabwe or whatever, like South Africa, and you always gonna have like tracks that will bring people all together. And
Absolutely.
when you have it's funny
Mhm.
because you can actually create like even like a folder,
Yeah.
with all the tracks. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's actually how you can. That's when you say like preparation to
Yeah.
to come to the earlier question,
Yeah.
that's part of the preparation.
Gotcha.
You know, you have your ingredients, and you can have like folders with like bangers, you know,
Yeah.
or you can like create like a folder like folder culture, for example.
Gotcha.
You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? And you have like the hit songs, and then you have like I don't know, like you can like yeah, it's like it's like painting. You create like your colors and your what I mean, like
Yeah.
everything, and your mixes, and then you go like, okay, you are playing, and at the moment you want to bring people, but you
Mhm.
have to do it consciously, even though you're not like calculating it.
Yeah.
You have to know like, okay, at this moment you
Mhm.
feel like, okay, I should bring this, I
Gotcha.
shouldn't bring this back now, because
Gotcha.
it's time to bring like memories.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
It goes back to what you said about like reading the room, reading the audience, and just kind of
Exactly.
bring us all together. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
it,
Okay.
it's so cool, because you go like, you play, and sometimes like most of the time I go like, okay, I gave you what you wanted, you know
Right.
from like, I gave you like the way I wanted to, but I give you what you wanted.
Yeah.
Now we on the cruise all together,
Yeah.
so let me bring you this. And
Gotcha.
then when you bring this, you go, people go like, oh shit, yeah, and
Mhm.
I love that feeling. I love that feeling. I'm not gonna lie, it's so it can be a little bit um uh what's, oh sorry, I'm losing my words right now.
No worries.
Um, I don't have it, but
Yeah. No worries.
the perspective is remains the same. At the end of the day, you give to receive.
Yeah.
So, bro,
Gotcha.
that's anyways. Yes.
Yeah, I totally understand that approach. Like, hey, I'm gonna bring you in. I'm a show you that I can cater to you, but I'm gonna bring you home with my personal style. And give you like some music for like my personal selection. Your personal select. Like how can I say this? Like you're gonna feed the crowd, but then you also gonna give them. Like I look at it like a bonus to a degree, right? Because when I think of party, it's like you're playing to the crowd, but then you also, you have something in your bag that they ain't see yet, right? So it's kind of like,
Exactly. Yeah.
okay, I'm like, oh, you think I'm going there? Boom, let me bring out something, in my bag or whatnot. So yeah, I totally appreciate that. I did have one very last question. I know you mentioned like, uh, being, still you feeling like a baby or a rookie, like still in
Yeah.
the game or whatnot. But for like the aspiring DJs and those who maybe just have it as a thought to be a DJ and need some advice, like what advice could you give to like an aspiring DJ who's just getting started?
You know what? I'm gonna give you the same advice an older DJ gave me
Hmm.
when I just got started. Um, don't do like the others.
Hmm.
Do not,
Like don't.
even, yeah, do
Mhm.
not, do not, do not act like them. Even though you see, you feel like the peer pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you, yeah, just don't do it. Like especially at the time, we live in we all have like the same kind of, what, I don't know, like we all trying to create like the recipe, but it's like
Mhm.
a template of this recipe. And when you go on socials and stuff,
Yeah.
you're gonna see like this
Mhm.
that's super like, you can
Mhm.
put like 90% of the DJs in the same box, because like they're following the same template. You know
Oh
what I
man,
mean?
absolutely.
You
So,
know?
mhm. So would you say like more just like individuality, like stay true to yourself? Because even if I see a DJ, right, like say for instance, I'm a aspiring DJ and I'm like, oh, Sané, he has the template. Let me model my approach behind Sané. But what you're saying is for me to just stay like individual, like stay true to myself, be who I am, and let that take me to where I have to go.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, you know, you become yourself when you realize that you don't want to be like the one you look up to.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean,
We,
yeah. You know how tough that is, though, right? Because you know how like when you look up to somebody, you kind of like want to walk the way they do, you want to talk the way they do, you want to do everything they
exactly.
do. But and I think that's what makes it so challenging to be a DJ, because it's like you really got to stay true to yourself, and it's kind of hard to stay true to yourself in today's society, because on social media, I'll say with that has the most impact, you kind of like see what's working for other people and you just want to copy it, right?
Yes,
And it's just like it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of courage to just remain like true to yourself.
exactly. And you know what? Like, um, there's a there's a sentence, there's a saying, sorry, from Pablo Picasso,
Yeah.
saying he said, uh, he said, I don't know which way it's you know it's formulated, but he said like the bad artists
Mhm.
copy and
Yeah.
the good ones steal. Yeah,
Basically. Yeah.
and you have to, if you want to be a good artist, you have to, you know, like steal. I
Mhm.
mean, when I say steal, like of course not like in a um, illegal way. It's
Yeah.
just we all have influences,
Hmm.
and you are also an influence, you know.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
you have to understand that, okay, you see something, you don't have to copy it, but you
Hmm.
can, you know, like the real inspiration is when you can actually, you know, like you can get it
Yeah.
from the person and you
Mhm.
can make it your own,
Gotcha. So just steal a
you know.
little bit from everybody that you know that basically inspires you.
Yeah, because that's the frequency, you know. If I, you know, if I'm receptive to your frequency, you know, there's something like basically the influence gonna operate. So
Gotcha.
it's up to me, like, do I want to say, do I want to wear the same hoodie, or
Yeah.
do I want to, you know, like, you know,
Modify it, you know, like
you know
tweak it.
what I mean, like wear
Yeah, yeah.
my version of the hoodie, you know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
it's actually, it's very subtle, but you have to yeah,
Mhm.
subtle, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to understand this. um yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, like copying someone always fade away with time. You know, we're gonna realize, okay,
Not sustainable.
yeah, I'm gonna stick to the original, whatever, you
Yeah.
know.
I
I
appreciate
grew up with listening to, you know, like for example, like Pharrell Williams was just
Mhm.
or Jay Dilla or whatever, but
Yeah.
let's say Pharrell, because he had like he was the first like real expressionist from you know, our
Yeah.
generation,
Hmm.
pluralist and everything. And to be honest with you, the more I was looking up to him, and the
Yeah.
more I was just boxing me in, and I was just
Mhm.
like, just it created a lot of frustration, you know, kind
Yeah.
of. But
Mhm.
when you realize that, okay, maybe it's not, you're not looking the right way, and
Mhm.
just, you know,
Like,
like take actions and
right? You
just
know, like,
realize, yeah,
mhm.
realize what you can, you know, like the how you can recreate something like that
Gotcha.
inspired you from him, and
Mhm.
just making your own. And then you realize that, okay, and it's actually interesting when people like you know, come to you and say, oh, you remind me kind of him, but
Mhm.
it's not like because you copying.
Yeah.
It's just like because you really digest you know, like the, you know, like his
That's,
approach and everything, and then
exactly.
and you created yourself through it, but not copying, because you cannot recreate his sound, you cannot recreate like his persona, you cannot
Mhm.
recreate it, you know what I mean? So it's and I think it's cooler to be yourself than to be somebody else.
Exactly, exactly. And I think we can all tell like who's a student of something else. Like if I see like, oh, you see like you said someone had mentioned to you that they can see the Pharrell in you, right? That's because you studied Pharrell and you became a student. And I think that's a very important part of anything that everybody does, is just to like remain a student at all times. Just continue
All
to learn.
time, all
Yeah,
time.
learn as much as you possibly can from everyone, but always remain in the student's chair, if that makes sense,
Yes,
right?
yes, sir. Yes,
Mhm.
sir. That makes so much sense. Even for yourself, like I can see now you I mean, like that's crazy, because the more I know about you, and the more I can see like the real expressionist you are, you know.
Gotcha. I appreciate
And it took yourself like it took you like a lot of time to actually open up.
Yeah,
on
right.
your, like to open up on your,
Mhm.
artistry, your craft and everything.
Yeah,
And I was like, wow, this guy, he has like ideas, like, I mean, like that's boiling
yeah,
inside, like, and I'm like,
I
wow, that's
appreciate
amazing
that.
to see him really express himself through, like design clothing, or
Mhm.
clothing design, sorry, or like even like just sketches, bro. Like you
Yeah.
can't, you don't realize, but
Mhm.
all your sketches are like so, they resonate because you can
That's
clearly
it.
see like the ideas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
appreciate
when you can visualize, I mean, that's so amazing, like art, the way to connect with senses, you know what I mean?
you. Yeah,
Because you express yourself through like drawings and stuff.
yeah.
And even though when you show me something,
Mhm.
like from my point of view, I'm gonna associate it with sound, and you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
music, and you know what I mean. And when
yeah,
you have like another of our brothers,
Mhm.
Kareem,
Yeah,
is more into like he is more like the eye catcher and everything, because
exactly,
with the
exactly.
images, and like, and you can also, from this you can also use, so your perspective,
Yeah,
and my, and all this combined is just like, that's, I love that,
I
so
appreciate
it's
that.
amazing to.
I really appreciate you just like the acknowledgement or whatnot. But I want to return the the favor in a sense. But like I always like was like fond of like your approach and just like you staying consistent with any of the ideas that you had. And and I probably never said this to you or whatnot, but like how much you inspire me. As a
Wow.
friend, like, all right, bro, like I see you doing your thing. I'm not saying I wish to do the exact same approach or whatnot, but
Yeah.
I do wish to like I wish for that same amount of like discipline and courage to continue to keep going. Because in the midst of this, we have our down days, right?
Yeah.
Where we're not feeling like ourselves, and we're not feeling, like almost like imposter syndrome to a degree or whatnot. But I easily think of you, and Kareem especially, like you two, and I'm like, yeah, just keep going, keep going. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
appreciate that, and I also like appreciate you, for taking time to like meet with me or whatnot. I know every time we talk, we talk hours on end and whatnot, so it's kind of hard to confine our time or whatnot. But
That's
again,
amazing.
yeah, my bro, I
That's
appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
Uh,
amazing, bro.
I gotta catch you in one of your gigs in another city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I
that's
definitely.
that's my goal for 2024 is to catch you in another city or another town, performing or whatnot. So that's my goal.
Yeah,
That's my goal for the second half of 2024.
exactly. And my goal is to actually um to make you save a ticket and I come to,
Well,
to the US to perform.
facts,
That would be
facts. Yeah,
amazing. I'm gonna create my opportunities for sure to come, and actually I have some tracks
yeah,
ready to be released. So that's another step. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Breaking that glass ceiling,
Hmm.
and yeah, just making it happen.
Facts, facts.
So
So soon,
it's
you'll be on
amazing.
the side of the Atlantic Ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like, yeah, bro, like I definitely want to come. I just want to reach the, yeah, I just want to create, like, to extend, I don't know, yeah, it's
Yeah,
expand my community, and and yeah, you know what, I wanted to say this too, um like, sometimes even though you just try something,
hmm,
you know um if you have the occasion, the opportunity to go back to it and just push for more,
yeah.
just do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. That's that's not even an advice. It's just
It's like a rule almost, right? Like just
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
one of the rules. Man,
Just
even if you
just
put it down, pick it back up. That's how I look at it.
exactly. Just hop over the fence. Just
Hmm.
you don't you don't care, because sometimes, like, bro, that's too, wow. That's
Yeah.
what's going on inside.
Hmm.
Wow, and the reality we create inside, like through this
Yeah.
filter, is just, it's sometimes it's just so effed up. We can't we can't imagine.
Mhm.
Because in a year you can leave like 1,000 lives. You know what I mean? Like
Facts, facts.
that's bro, in 1 year.
That's
You know
that's
what I mean? Like
the curse of life is that like you can literally live so many lives, you know, in a short amount of time. So it's like the gift and the curse. Man.
The gift and the curse, and just surround yourself with people, like basically like people like,
Yeah.
you know, like that's an ego point of view, but kind of
Mhm.
like they are like your reflection, you
Yeah.
know, because they know like they pursue they perceive the world kind of like the same way, like saying like there's no limits, there's no boundaries, there's no, you create your own limits, by the way. So
Basically, yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, you create that
yeah,
gel. You know, you know what I'm saying. So, nah,
exactly.
but yeah, my bro, I appreciate you. I can't wait to get this out. To be honest, you know what I'm saying. Get this on
That's
the platform.
amazing.
I appreciate you. You know, again, and you know, of course, we'll link up soon or whatnot.
Of
So,
course, bro.
like what we both create, you know what I'm saying. Hopefully, we can collab on something. You know, I'm sure we can figure it out or whatnot.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yes, sir, bro. Hey, bro, that's so cool. That's it's the end now, because I forgot to
Yeah.
to plug my laptop, so now it's running out
No,
battery.
no,
So
no,
and I only have 2%. I'm like, oh shit, I don't want this conversation
yeah,
to end. You know,
gotcha. All right, my
yeah.
bro. Gotcha.
So
Appreciate you, man. All right.
yeah.
Yeah.